in the middle of the afternoon, daytime will become dark right here in our own backyard of Mansfield, Ohio. I'm Brian Skowronski. Travis Berardi is hanging out with me, and this is Total Eclipse Live. Might have ripped off MTV with that one, but
I see what you did there. Yeah,
it's this is our event. This is our big day, and it's been talked about throughout the entire state, at least those that are within this pathway where you're going to be able to see the total eclipse. And we're pretty jacked up, I'd say, for this.
Oh, yeah. It's not just the state. It's the whole country. I mean, the Weather Channel's got people all the way up and down the path of totality from Texas all the way up to Maine. But we're lucky enough in our little piece of Ohio that we don't have to travel with the masses outside the state. We just have to take about a 25-foot walk outside our studio to
welcome to our front lawn, more or less, is what we're trying to say here. So what we're going to do for you guys is we're told, according to all these astronomists and the smart people,
there it is.
Hey, in about 5 minutes, it's going to start getting real around here, okay?
Yeah.
And at 3:14 approximately is where we're supposed to be seeing this, where the moon totally is going to cover up the sun. We're going to have a demonstration of that coming up a little bit later, and we'll showcase exactly what that means, how it's all supposed to shape out here this afternoon. But basically, we're going to allow you guys to watch this thing live and free right here on the podcast. We're going to have the camera set up. We got a special lens for it, so I don't recommend, unless you've got some of those stellar glasses that everyone around town seems to be wearing right now, unless you have those on, don't look up at the sky.
Oh, yeah,
okay?
I can see part of it.
It's like that Leo DiCaprio movie. Just don't look up unless you got these babies right here, and then you can see what you're seeing on your screen, and we're going to be showing you guys the entire totality of the process from start to finish right here on the OH.Report.
Yeah, we already got people commenting in. Also, hello, Dustin. Slow sports day. Yeah, it is when every school cancels for the day because of the eclipse. So usually Mondays are slow day anyway, but we will have high school sports hopefully this week. We'll talk more about that in the 3 o'clock hour. Tanner Slusher, Pirate Ship.
Hey, what's up?
And also Tony Fowler, hello to you as well. But I'm excited for this day. It's a beautiful day. This is the warmest day we've had in 2024. I mean, they couldn't have done it, set it up any more perfect. 71 degrees right now. I'm in, my,
but what do you call this
Hawaiian
get up that
garb.
you got going on? Hawaiian?
Outrageous clothing, I guess,
Yeah, same. I got on my Operation Survive Ohio shirt today, which my children picked out for me many, many months ago, and it just felt very fitting for this afternoon.
Yeah, I saw on my way back, I went to Pittsburgh yesterday taking the Pirate game, but on the way back there were a few of those big construction signs that said, do not park on the brim. So any of you on the highway, you can't park on the side, especially on 71 or on the major highways. You're going to get arrested if you pull over for the Totality. So just pull off an exit, go to a gas station or something if you need to do that. But there are a bunch of signs that said, do not park on the brim. Heavy traffic expected. It took me a total of, well, the same amount of time it usually takes me to get my apartment because there's not a lot of traffic out there right now. But hey, you got to be prepared, right?
We were indeed, and I think the anticipation was that the streets were going to be flooded with people just standing around, standing room only for the entire city of Mansfield, and basically the entire total scope of Ohio that's right in that little landing strip of where you can see
people out. I rarely don't see anybody walking around, but we do have families that are out.
Absolutely. Hey,
as I was leaving my apartment, there were a couple signs for some parties. The church right by my apartment, they have tables set up and people. So there's going to be some watch parties, but I won't expect a lot of gridlock today, though.
Yeah, we cruised around downtown. We went out with our cameras a couple of hours ago, and we were just looking to show you guys all the biggest and the latest parties here taking place in downtown Mansfield. Yeah. Didn't see a whole lot of that action going down, so I think that the projection was it might be like The Walking Dead out here, just like, oh, sunshine, total eclipse, and that hasn't exactly gone down, but doesn't mean that it's not a very cool thing. I did, while I was zigzagging my way through all the, if you want to call them neighborhoods here in downtown, I saw quite a few people with some lawn chairs setting up. So that was a couple hours ago. Maybe it's gotten a little bit better. I do have my drone. I might be able to set up and go for a little cruise.
You can work on your tan too today because it's the clouds. We have
sun's out,
a little bit of clouds, but it's not going to block the sun for us today. But you could get a nice tan. I got a little bit of a tan at PNC Park yesterday on my face. A little bit of color. I guess the kids call it a base. You know, I got that base now for the rest of the year. But you know, it's a beautiful day.
A little primer coat.
We should think about doing this more during the summer, doing our podcast outside, because this is a cool little thing.
This ain't bad. We got a little bit of shade here with the tree, even though there's no foliage. It's still kind of blocking out the sun for now, which it's working out. So, all right. At the 3 o'clock hour, Travis and I, we're going to be back. We're going to break down, basically, we're going to lead you up to the total eclipse, where the moon is going to be taking up the sunshine, the entire space there.
We'll start the podcast for real at 3 o'clock, and we'll be with you throughout. I know it's starting already. It started about 1:45, but the whole eclipse goes until about 4:30.
Yes.
So we'll be leading you up until Totality. We'll be here, you know, mind blown by everything that's happening during it. And then afterwards, we'll finish up the podcast while the moon finishes its photobomb of the sun.
We got some things to talk about, obviously. I know that the women's basketball kind of taken over. It captured the hearts of the nation here over the last several weeks. It was just, just right up this road right over here to go check that out. And we got the men's national championship game going down tonight. Some crazy news. I saw Coach Cal is moving
Arkansas
from Kentucky, a blue blooder, to there, so might have to bring that up. And then if we get some sunshine this week, of course, we wanted to give you some live and free spring sports action last week, and just Mother Nature, she wasn't interested in really cooperating with us.
A little cold. It's going to be warmer, so hopefully just even if we get a little rain with the warmer temperatures, all these places with turf will be able to bring you some action. Although, shout out Upper Sandusky with the sweep of Colonel Crawford as we kicked off our coverage. They're going to be a fun team to watch. We'll talk more about that later on, though, but that's going to be a fun team to watch as well.
All right, now what's going to be fun for you guys to watch is the solar eclipse. So we've got this special lens on the camera. We're going to bring this up live and free for you guys for the entire duration of it. We're going to have it full screen, and then we will be back with you folks at approximately 3 p.m. So until then, take in the sunshine. If you can, get outside, put on those special glasses, and if not, just watch it here, enjoy it, get you a little beverage, and take it all in right here on the OH.Report video pod.
Also, real quick, hello, Lynn Passett, our buddy from Iowa watching, and Linda Mendoza.
Two top fans.
Madeline says hello as well. She's here with us today. Enjoy that big old orange.
Oh, I see. It's taking place, huh?
Yeah, that's why I said we're starting already, and it's gonna get. The light's going to get a little trippy, too. I realized this last time we had the eclipse. It wasn't Totality here back 6 years ago, but it still was enough to where it just, the lighting was kind of weird, and it's going to start getting like that until Totality, until afterwards.
I see.
You'll understand it here coming up, but it's just a whole spectacle. One
of those type of things that you normally only get when you walk into a guy named Freddie, like in a back alley, and he slips you a little something on a Skittle, or some fun guy or something. So instead, you just get this.
He's a fun guy.
Definitely make it feel that way. So that's what we're gonna get here. completely sober here on the OH.Report pod. So we're going to kick some tunes, enjoy the sights, and we'll be back with you guys here.
We'll check in a little bit. We'll do some check-ins.
That's right.
still,
That's
yeah.
right. All right.
We'll be back.
Ta-ta.
Bye-bye.
Well, hey there, people of planet Earth, and welcome back here to the OH.Report video podcast, where we are live showing you this historic solar eclipse that's really going to be going down in the totality. What do we got? Maybe about 50 minutes or so.
We're about halfway there. Oh, we're halfway. Okay, we probably get cut for...
You were so on key
right,
that I think Facebook might have recognized that as the actual song.
But hello to all you 80-plus watching on Facebook and the other 10 watching on YouTube. I did put a question out there a little bit earlier. What is everybody doing here today for the eclipse? And we had some answers. Brittany Roach watching from Forest, Ohio. Pam, she's working right now. Well, Pam, in about 45 minutes, tell your boss you got to take a break, go outside, watch Totality if you're in the ring of Totality, because you can't miss this.
It's like a national holiday, at least here in Ohio, or if you're within that pathway. Come on.
Well, like, next time it's going to happen is 2099, and unless they have some really advances in technology and science, I don't think we're going to be here for it. So I don't think a lot of people are going to be here for it, except for maybe Mikey over here, since he's only 8. He might, if you get him good health ways and stuff right now, he
looks like he's sucking down a sugar drink.
He had like a ho-ho earlier too.
Battling with his sister. Who knows?
But yeah, next time is 2099.
Wow.
We were talking about this before we came on, Brian. I saw on Facebook there was a newspaper article from like the 50s, from the last time we had it. It said the next time you will be able to witness this is 2024.
And how they know that?
We'll talk more about that during the podcast when we start off at 3 o'clock. But man, this is a cool day, beautiful weather out. Joni Parks sitting out back with our girls. Hopefully the girls are having a good time playing. Like I said, beautiful day out here. Laura Marie sitting outside at work in Bucyrus. Joy Smith, they're in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. That's a perfect place to be, but it's raining. I'm so sorry, Joy. We'll broadcast it for you guys too.
Online, and what they projected, at least last week, was the absolute best place to be was in Texas. I think right around Austin. And what a surprise! It's cloudy there.
With thunderstorms today for them, and it's beautiful out here. And the light has already kind of changed. It feels like it's dusk here already because the way the lighting is, because the moon is about halfway covering, as you can see here on the screen right over there. Yeah, that way.
This way.
That way would be to our left. But yeah, this is pretty cool right now, and there's some clouds, but it's those the thin clouds that you can still see through. So we're going to probably be able to bring you the full eclipse as it goes through, starting at 1:45 all the way to 4:30.
That's right. So you can watch that go down live and free the entire time we're going to be up. We're going to have the full screen going for you guys, and then at approximately 3 o'clock, Travis and I will jump on here. We'll give you a couple of facts about what's going on here with this total eclipse. We'll tell you about some of the history and set you up for the full blackout, which goes down right around 3:14. We'll step aside for that for about 4 minutes. We'll let everybody take it in all of its glory. You got to. I mean, if it's going to be the last time that I'm going to get this chance to probably see it in my life.
You might, freeze yourself cryogenically and be able to bring your back.
Modern medicine. Who the heck knows? Maybe less pizzas, and I might work out for a while.
Yeah, I got to get off the Taco Bell if I want to be able to. That's tough.
It looks like kind of
hello,
the whole
Jennifer
crew.
Wilson watching from Upper Sandusky, sitting in our backyard.
Nice.
Carrie Ramsey from Belleville, sitting in my backyard. Amanda Haynes, porch sitting in Licking County.
Hey.
And Madeline Zazzuto, who is 2 feet away from us right there, watching live and free from the OH.Report World Headquarters here in Mansfield, Ohio.
That's right. This is our front lawn down here. We've had a lot of people driving by, quite a few pedestrians cruising as well. So a few extra people on the street than normal. It feels like most of you actually got the day off of work. So we feel for those of you that are out there watching live and free from your workplace right now. But we're glad that we can give you the opportunity.
Too, but
That's
we're
a
lucky.
fair point.
We're working too, right?
But
we get to do it. I think we should do more podcasts during the summer when it's nice out here. This is
a
cool setup. Linda Mendoza loves it. We'd like to hear and see Madeline because we're missing her here. Say hi, Madeline.
I can't see. Hey.
Linda Mendoza, always one of our favorite viewers, and
I know these are almost like a blindfold. If you're trying to do a magic trick or something, throw these babies on in a dark room. I mean, there's no chance that you're going to walk anywhere that you're trying to go in the right direction. So these are the real deal. And I was trying to think to myself this morning, I was like, how much of a difference does it make when you put these on versus my shades? Because these are tinted pretty heavily. I feel like a vampire when I look up there, like I'm melting in the sun. But these, of course, you can see the entire thing go down with your bare eyes, and then with the cool screen, or excuse me, the lens adapter that we got, you're able to watch it go down.
Very high tech with its card. It's just like it's literally just like these glasses, just cardboard around, but it's that lens that whatever that.
Yeah, no, we spent hundreds and hundreds of pennies on that thing, and it's coming through.
Hey, whatever works, though, to bring this to you guys live and free. Hello, Nancy Mowry, watching from Bethany Beach, Delaware. Do you have?
I wonder if they're like in that Total Pathway line.
I think it's down. It's literally down 71. So it goes through Cincy, maybe clips a little bit of
well, I think Delaware's the opposite way. That's kind of northeast.
Yeah.
From what? Oh, Delaware, like
Delaware.
Ohio.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
See, there's too many.
I think maybe not. I don't know. We're all around the world, but hopefully it's nice out. Anthony watching from Loudonville, home of the Final Four regional champion Lady Redbirds of Loudonville.
Shout out.
Jenny Hughes watching from Kingman, Arizona.
Very nice.
Where it's a dry heat there.
Always.
It's a dry heat there. Always.
Yeah, I think
they won't get the totality.
No.
But even.
See a little bit.
All across the country, you're getting a partial. I think out in Oregon, you get like 15%.
Right.
Back home in West Virginia, it's 95%. So they'll see, it'll be like a little thumbnail, like you see every once in a while with the moon, thumbnail moon, but it'll be with the sun. So everybody will get a piece of the eclipse. You have to use your glasses to see it. Mm-hmm. But the people lucky enough in the area of totality will actually get to see the ring of light around the moon as it photobombs the sun.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where being in Mansfield, Ohio is exactly where you want to be.
How lucky are we? Like, we don't have to go anywhere. We come into work.
We had to run a couple cables out here. I mean,
about 25 feet out, and we don't have to do anything else. I know there's people that I'd have friends that from back in West Virginia that went up to Northeast Ohio. They got a hotel and things like that. There's actually a concert going on all around. That'd be cool to have here. Go to the Brickyard. That's what we should have done.
Well, we do have, I can see almost the Phoenix from here. There's a big building kind of blocking my view, but I know that they've got some festivities going on outside. So once we wrap this thing up, we'll probably go wandering around downtown.
They made a Eclipse beer, I heard.
A special one just for today,
one for today, I think. That's what Jory Hollenbecker, a great camera woman, said to me earlier. So we might have to at least partake and taste that and see how that goes. Joe, watching from Ashtabula, hello. Natalie Lance, I know that name.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur, business owner.
Missed her a couple nights ago.
The Lady Whippets of Shelby High School. Mm-hmm. Coach Lance, how you doing?
Yep.
She said this is awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, her restaurant is awesome, and my wife and I, we had to try really hard not to wander back over there for the 4th weekend in a row after having it 3 consecutive weeks. So that we'll be back over there doing some DJ stuff here pretty soon on the rocks.
Valerie watching from Colorado, the home state of Brian Skowronski. Hello to you guys. I am not a steak person, but the steak at that place, I love it.
Doesn't even make any sense. Yeah. Wow.
I mean, I'm more of a burger and taco guy, but I worked at a steakhouse for 8 years. No, get out of here, producer.
Okay.
So I worked at a steakhouse and I got sick of it. That's why. But that steak is.
I didn't know that was possible.
It might have brought my love for steak back. How about that?
We hope so.
Yeah.
We hope so. All right. Well, hopefully your love of all things awesome is kind of like percolating here today during this Total Eclipse Live right here on the OH.Report. So we're going to shut things down. At least Travis and I are with our running mouths. You can continue to watch the eclipse and the blackout take place. And at approximately 3 p.m., we will be back. We will tell you about some of the history that's involved with today. Yeah. We'll get you set up for the Total Eclipse at 3:14. And then after that, we got some sports talk to attend to.
Because we are a sports site. You know, we do have some sports, national championship games, and hopefully some spring sports. Also, you know, somebody that likes sports, Chris Hirschberger, watching, saying hello. Hello to Chris. Daniel Stotts, Pam Wells watching from Southeast Ohio, Justin Galley watching from Connecticut, and Sue Pridge from Handler, Ohio. Okay, I'm done with my shout-outs. I had to get everybody in there because we love giving the love out. But, yeah, we'll talk some sports after this once-in-a-lifetime experience ends.
That's right. All right, we'll see you guys back in 17 minutes. Hey.
What's up? How we doing? It's so... The lighting is so weird and cool at the same time right now. Like, it looks like, I was telling you before we just came on, you know those old movies where they can't shoot throughout the day, so they shoot during the day, and then they just try to make it dim to make it seem like it's like dusk or morning? It actually looks like that right now. It's just... That's the best way I guess I could describe
it's like a
it.
natural
It's like putting a filter
Hollywood
on.
trick
Yeah.
going down right before our eyes. And we are less than 12 minutes away from a total solar eclipse, and we are right in the middle of the total pathway here on our front lawn at OH.Report World Headquarters in downtown Mansfield, Ohio. And Travis, I got a little bit of information for you about what we're about to be seeing here. So
yeah, go for it, dude.
First off, so solar eclipse actually happens about every 6 months, okay, where it kind of cross into the moon's orbital plane when it's closest to the sun. But unlike a lunar eclipse where everybody in the world, no matter where you're at, you can see that at night as long as it's not cloudy out. Only a small portion of the world, of course, can see the solar eclipse, which is very interesting. You know, people have traveled to Ohio from all over the region. Some international travelers have made their way into the United States just to be able to see this here today. Yeah. And they've got like a fun nickname that I forget, but there are people that chase after these type of solar and then lunar type of experiences just to be a part of them.
That's a big net they're chasing after.
I don't.
Hello.
Hey. So yeah, we got local parties going on definitely all over Ohio here today, and certainly in our own backyard here in Mansfield. Saw a lot of people at their houses having some barbecues going down here in downtown, of course, as well. And astronomers, they've been predicting these things since before Christ was born, and this is the only piece of information that kind of made sense to me, okay? So, there's an initial framework for how they make these predictions, the eclipse predictions. It's called the Saros cycle. So they have a near identical one that happens, Travis, exactly every 18 years, 11 days, and 8 hours. And people started figuring that out thousands of years ago.
Thousands, yeah.
And they were starting to figure out the cycles from there, which it's amazing that without the internet and the way that we're all connected here today, where it's very simple just to pull up and be like, hey, what are they talking about in Egypt today? That those types of writings have lasted that long. But they figured that out back in like 4 BC or something, a long time ago, and they've at least known that. So now how they figure out the total pathway, that's for people that are much smarter than you and I to figure out.
Much smarter. And this is a big science day. Because I know there's some scientists, the super collider or whatever, that big old machine they use to like break atoms down, they're turning that thing on during totality wherever they're at during the eclipse just to see if matter changes or anything like that. I know zoos up and down the path of totality to see how animals are reacting to it. I know some scientists are shooting rockets up in the air during the eclipse just to see if there's anything different. So this is a big science day because you never know. We could find out something. We can find a breakthrough out during this, and it could change, you know, the path of life as we know it, or it could just be another day where the moon just photobombs the sun. Either or, it's a cool experience.
And for others, they're just shooting off, you know, bottle caps into the sky, and then also maybe some fireworks because it's America, baby, and that's what we do, and just enjoying it as a day off of work. But let's go ahead and show you the total pathway, and kind of, you know, of course, we can see it here where we're at, and this thing, parts of 15 states. Okay, it starts over the South Pacific Ocean. We know that today, and it's first seen in Mexico's Pacific coast, and then it's going to follow along here on the graphic that we're about to bring up. So you'll see exactly where you're able to
right
take
now
this
it's over
baby in.
Tennessee. I'm guessing, you know, it's right around towards Tennessee, the Tennessee area, maybe Muncie, Indiana right now. Indianapolis is probably getting it right now because we're so close. As you can see on the right hand of the screen, that's how close we are to getting our eclipse at the moment. So there's people they're south of us and maybe Tennessee, Kentucky, bottom part of Indiana that's in pitch black right now. Experiencing it because we're coming up next. Oh, got to say hello to my buddy Josh Ford, who just celebrated his 50th birthday 2 days ago. Go Pirates. Went to the Bucco game yesterday. Go Buccos. Also got to shout out my brother Zach watching from Paris, France.
Oh, wow.
He wanted to be here for 4 minutes and then be back in Paris because I don't know why he wouldn't want to be in Paris right now, but he
still
wanted
working
to
on that
experience
technology.
this with us. So shout out to my brother over there and then my friend Sarah watching from Wadsworth as well. But it's about to happen. I mean, you got, you know, Bloomington, Dayton coming up. Probably that's going to hit Dayton here shortly. It'll hit us and then Cleveland, and it's still going to go up all the way through Maine and then out across. Looks like Iceland will probably get it a little bit here later on, but just so cool. So cool.
And we're, I think, a little under like 7 minutes away from what we're getting the total eclipse coming up here, where the moon is totally going to be blocking out the sun.
Photobomb.
So for those of you that don't really understand like what's taking place, we've got a reenactment that went down in my backyard last night. That way we can explain this thing through the power of people and picture. And I think this will give you a pretty solid depiction of exactly what's taking place here in, right around 5 minutes or so. So I had 2 very willing participants.
Were they?
Thanks to an Amazon order, we got some great looking shirts as well. And it's tough to tell because we're watching on a screen that's probably 10 seconds behind what's actually up. So I'm just waiting for this reenactment. I was going to try to explain it through. Okay, so I'm told this up. All right. So it kind of starts like any other day, you know. The sun's out there kind of basking in all of her glory, you know, winning the sky like it does. It's obviously the biggest part of the solar system. And then the moon, it's like, hey, you know, I'm trying to party here as well. It starts cramping the space a little bit, kind of like, you know, a heavily lubricated barfly over some pretty girls on the dance floor. That's kind of what happens, where it starts filling up some areas where it's like, yo, you're kind of in my purview here, buddy. And then over about an hour and 20-minute process, eventually the moon completely is going to cover up the sun to where that's all you're seeing. Total
the universe's
darkness.
Biggest photobomb.
And then 4 minutes later, of course, after the blackout, then things start to go to normal. The moon goes on its way and the sun gets to own the sky yet again. So there you go, guys. That's what's happening right now. Exactly.
Yeah, and it's getting darker and darker because we are literally moments away from this. It's like, if you look at the moon at sometimes, you get the thumbnail noon. It's the thumbnail sun right now because
right.
you see it's creeping and creeping, and I think we're about to hit totality here.
Yeah, no, we're still about a few minutes away, about 3-4 minutes away from that happening. So we'll try to keep you entertained up until then. And then Travis and I are going to step out, and we got these awesome glasses made by Sun Graphics here in Mansfield, Ohio as well. So shout out to them. If you are going to try to look up at the total eclipse for that 4 minutes of darkness, you can do it without the glasses. You know, you can take your eyes into your own hands and decide if that's something you want to do. But why it's dangerous, and the reason why is because you feel like, hey, you know, it's blacked out, so we're not getting those solar rays coming through. That's not 100% true. That's what the scientists and the astronomers have made note of. So definitely you want to put these babies on, but you can feel it, Travis. The temperature is dropping a little bit.
See, I was watching the Weather Channel, and they said, you know, 71 degrees, 70, 71 degrees at 2, and then at 3 o'clock, 65. And then at 4 o'clock, 71 again, because the sun's away. That heating from the sun drops the temperature, and when it comes back out, you know, it's right back there. Also, I just got a message from my brother. Anybody else I could shout out, Zach, while over watching with you guys in Paris? But that's cool. We got a viewer from Storm and Garrett, our boys, watching. Nicole LaPierre watching.
So we've got international viewership going down. Of course, a lot of our friends. My wife keeps pointing at my kids. I don't know what I'm supposed to do exactly.
She wants us to go over with the kids, but we can't take our headsets yet over there. So.
Yeah, well, we're still a couple minutes away.
Yeah, it's getting dark though. I mean, it's
happening.
It's weird.
It's upon us. So, okay, now we see the sun definitely is starting to dissipate. The light is going away. So Travis and I, we're going to step aside. We're going to take this all in, as you should as well. So if you're within that total pathway, get outside, look up at the sun. Definitely put these babies on before you do that, and just enjoy these next about 5 minutes, because it's going to be something that's not going to come around until, well, what, another 50 2099 or something.
I was just told not to blind myself for my brother, so yeah, I'll be using the glasses until totality.
And you're already halfway blind with
those things
goggles
are
you put
huge.
on. All right, we'll see you guys in a minute.
Yep. How flipping cool was that, man?
Hey.
That was,
Hey.
wow, unbelievable.
Solar system, God, universe, they put on a show just now. And just the different stages of it all happening back to back to back were really awesome, of course, where it gets completely dark. And you feel like the 10-degree difference. It happens like in a millisecond.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of chilly now.
Just looking around, because first, that ring in Totality that's something you're going to remember forever. That was just phenomenal. But then looking around, I took a video of just a 360-degree video of just the horizon, and it's like a sunset all the way around. You could see through, the light through the buildings and stuff, but wow.
Yeah, you didn't
Pretty
see the birds did.
The
Quit
birds,
flying around.
Everything's, you didn't hear
completely
nothing.
silent.
I heard the train horn behind us. I heard a bunch of people. There's so many people on the roofs around here. That's
setting off some fireworks.
Yeah. As we expected, it's Mansfield. You get fireworks for anything.
Of course.
This is the only time that you're ever going to have good fireworks go off in the middle of the day and be able to see them. So.
Yeah, it got so dark that the city streetlights all turned on down the block here for a couple of minutes. They've now turned off, of course, and the sun is starting to make its presence felt yet again. And wow. So for those of you that were not within that total pathway and got the opportunity to see the 100% blockage of the sun, I think it took us a little while to know. We were all enjoying it. We didn't realize we had to take off that special filter for you guys to see it when it was dark out until it was probably too late. So we were watching it with our eyes, and obviously you take off the glasses for that portion of it
just
too.
Look right up at it. And the cool thing I did see leading up, you saw those little blips around the ring. That's just some of the rays trying to break through. They called those, they were sunburps, they called them.
What?
Yeah, little, the sun has gas too, but everybody does. But it's just, it was, I can't even explain what that was. That was just phenomenal.
And obviously, thousands of people here in the greater Mansfield area all just took that in with us. And we appreciate all of you that were watching out there live on the podcast here this afternoon. And we'll continue to show you the aftermath now of
this is
the
going
Total
on for
Eclipse.
another hour and 10 minutes still. But that's, I mean, so many people. Brenda Olive watching from Oklahoma. You know her.
What's up, Brenda? Mom.
Tony Fowler said it's darker and cooler. It was. Heather, their security lights were popping on. That's how dark it got.
For sure.
Darwin Thompson, my Dust to Dawn light just came on. Daniel says it's awesome. Carla, thank you for doing this. My buddy Josh, I'm blind. You have to use the glasses forward. Come on, man. Natalie Lance is just freaking awesome. Yeah, that's how you explain it. Marquetta Wootson, that was dope. Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah, I think kind of the coolest part about it was it went basically from dawn to dusk. It felt very much like the sun was setting, except for very rapidly. But then when the moon started getting out of the way, how do you really describe that ambiance? It was a little mysterious.
It was kind of like, I was talking to Adam while we were in break. It was kind of like one of those zombie flicks. Yeah. It was that little.
It's like World War Z breaking out around here. Except for we don't have any Walking Dead characters to come like knife any of these crazy creatures coming through. But
it just happened. So we're still waiting for.
We're not seeing any yet.
And hey, everybody survived the end of the world again.
Hey, Operation Survive Ohio. We're a part of it. We made it, and we're glad that life continues on because, Travis, the Total Eclipse wasn't the only exciting thing to go down in Ohio here over these last several days because the city of Cleveland, that's right, the rock and roll city was rocking and rolling with some women's basketball. Yeah. And I think that really the storylines, you could not have really wrote the matchups and the characters any better than what the NCAA got out of this past Final Four, and even the Elite Eight, if you want to make it a little bit grander with the Iowa versus LSU, the national championship game from last year that was so well spoken about taking place before we even got down to the last four teams. So for women's basketball, they've been on the main stage, and I've seen a lot of girls that played in college hoops and even in the WNBA been wearing those shirts that say everyone watches women's sports, and that was certainly the case here over these last several weeks. So I wanted to start by just applauding all the teams that made it and all the coverage that we got, because it was a unique experience where the entire world kind of gravitated towards Cleveland there for a couple of days with the big games on Friday, and of course yesterday with the national championship game right in the middle of the afternoon. And it was an awesome experience, and I think that women's sports are starting to get some traction like we haven't seen before in the landscape of the modern media. And what I'm wondering now, Travis, is does it continue with the evolution of the game now and Caitlin Clark doing what she's done over the last several years? Because make no mistake, I think you can say that she is the GOAT of college basketball in the women's game.
What, she is the GOAT. People have followed me on Twitter since that second round game against West Virginia where it seemed like every time they bumped her, she put her arms out. She, far and beyond, the best player in college basketball there. I was just a little bothered by the way she took on things. You even saw pictures of her video of her dad saying, stop it, just because of the fact that she's that role model for kids. And even you see this in high school games, some players, every time they think they get touched, they put their arms out. Don't do that. It's just a bad look, and we don't want our future generations to be playing like that. That's all I was thinking. But she's still the best player out there, and she got her team out to a 10-0 lead on South Carolina. And you're thinking, oh, this is going to be great. But then Dawn Staley's squad, they're just too good. Dawn Staley, one of the best coaches out there. I kind of was rooting for Gino versus Dawn in that national championship game, but you wanted Caitlin Clark. I know the
you had to have
ESPN
that.
Commentators, they're acting like you and me during a Shelby Lutheran West or a Northmore Patriot Prep game going all homer for one team. They wanted it too, and they got it because of viewership, money like that. But still, it was the matchup we wanted to see.
You wanted to get the ultimate giant in the history of the game, the all-time leading scorer, the best three-point shooter ever.
From anywhere beyond half court.
And not only that, the most mentally fundamental player that we've ever seen in women's college basketball. She averaged 10 assists a game in the tournament. She's got a record, Travis, for a career of the most assists, most points scored, and most three-pointers.
I want to see, does it immediately click for her in the WNBA? Because she's probably going to be the _1 pick. She's going to go to Indianapolis for the Fever. But do we see her with that transition be immediate, or is it going to be a welcome rook type deal where it takes her a little bit to adjust? Because I know she will at some point become that player again in the WNBA. Is it immediate, or is it going to be a little bit? Because there's other Angel Reese is going to that. South Carolina's best player. They're big. This is a great class for the WNBA as well, which can help build that brand.
I think that it's going to be very interesting because of how well she shoots it from long range. I would anticipate Caitlin Clark will come in and be the WNBA Rookie of the Year right away. We've seen players with that big legacy like Sabrina, even though I would say that Caitlin far and away much better. I heard Kelsey Plume talk about the fact that when she got into the WNBA, that it took her about 3 years before she really adjusted to the speed. Diana Taurasi on record said, I think it's going to be a rude awakening for Caitlin when she starts playing with full-grown women that do this for a living. But I mean, she's got it all going on. She's pretty good in her commercials, too. You see her in the Nike ads, Gatorade, State Farm's on her now. How about $3 million in NIL deal money this last year for Caitlin Clark?
How about the $5 million contract that Ice Cube
Big Three offered?
For the Big Three.
So
somebody offered her 10 as well.
Yeah, I seen Lil Durk, who I don't know how well his music actually sells. I don't know if he's got $10 million in the bank to just throw at Caitlin Clark to jump on a team.
However, you
start thinking about the assets that you can get from having a star of that caliber come over, play against the boys. It could be a conversation worth having, Travis. And if you're Caitlin Clark, okay, so you come into the WNBA, the maximum deal that she can get is right around $80,000 for that first-year deal. Now,
contract,
I talked about all of the different brands that are already on her, and I'm sure that that's even going to get even bigger. She'll probably get between $3 and $5 million a year moving forward, maybe even more. I don't want to cap her.
It's kind of like First off, I'm not comparing her to Jordan at all, but kind of like the Jordan thing with Nike. He got his rookie contract, but how did he make his money?
That's right.
The endorsements, things like that. And also, hey, Caitlin Clark, we'll offer you $100,000 for an NIL deal. Now, does anybody want to give us $100,000 to give her? Anybody? Anybody? Because we'd be willing to give her your money. No? Okay.
No one commented with a big bankroll?
I don't know. Maybe they would save it for us, for our coverage, as it builds.
So Here's the question now moving forward, because I think girls basketball, because of her, and then we had the great rivalry with LSU, and then the South Carolina Gamecocks, the back-to-back undefeated seasons, of course,
and can we talk
losing
about
to
Dawn
Iowa in the
Staley
Final
real
Four.
quick before we move on to this?
Sure.
Dawn Staley has to be the best coach out there right now. The way she has her team playing year in and year out, they lost to Caitlin Clark last year, and then since then, undefeated. It felt like chip on the shoulder business trip. Her play, she coaches her players great. I kind of compare her to like a Ted Lasso, because she teaches her players to be respectful, to play the game right, and when that happens, usually success comes your way. And I think that's the player you want your kids playing for, is Dawn Staley, and she does it right. She's still fiery. She gets on you. She can get on the refs and things like that, but at the end of the day, she is the epitome of a great coach. And after the game, she even said, I want to thank Caitlin Clark for what she did for college basketball this year. She was the future. She brought this game in. I want to congratulate her and congratulate Iowa. This was right after getting the trophy. She didn't have to do that, but she's Dawn Staley. And I think that's another thing why college basketball is going to be so great, because of coaches like her. Class
personified, and the clout to go with it. Of course, she's a basketball legend herself, and she's been doing this job a lot longer than I actually realized. This was her 16th season on the sideline there at South Carolina, and she's got that program humming right now, where the most exciting players on the team, they have a 6'7" giant in the middle who will probably be a top 5 pick in the WNBA, but the 2 freshmen that they brought off of the bench, Tessa Johnson, and then the young lady whose name I can't remember, but she was the most spectacular in terms of her finishing ability. It was really, really fun to watch that.
Back to your talk,
Fo Wiley was her name.
You were starting about the future basketball. Those are probably the 2 that could help lead. I know Paige Buckets, she'll be back, but can she step her game up? Because she was good, but she wasn't great. And I think maybe that's coming off of the ACL injury too, that she's maybe not 100%. But back to what you were about to start, what does the future look like? At least to you, can it stay at the level it is now with some of these players?
For college basketball, that's going to be the question, because now that they've got Caitlin Clark moving on to the top level, you're going to have her, if you're WNBA, that's huge. For the women's college game, are they going to be able to develop somebody that comes in and captures the emotions of America like she did? Juju over at USC is a very fun player. She's a freshman. She's going to be around for a couple of more years. I talked about the South Carolina kids. You talked about Paige Buckets. I'm only speaking for myself personally as a basketball fan. When I watch all of them, they don't get my interest gauged and peaked quite like Caitlin Clark does. I could not sit and watch the other Final Four game that went on that wasn't UConn versus Iowa. I only watched the first half of the South Carolina game, and then I flipped it off because they didn't have that it factor for me, Travis. So I'm rooting for it, and I hope that it stays at this level that it is. But I question whether, without Caitlin Clark, women's basketball at the college level remains as relevant as it has been the last 2 years. I'll be very surprised.
I think somebody's going to step up, because they have to. College basketball needs somebody to step up, and I think they'll find that person, and then we'll get the same thing. ESPN will be all over them. They get the coverage to keep viewership and things like that. But I hope there's 3 or 4. I hope we get maybe a couple Big 12 players going at it, where we have those matchups not until even earlier. Multiple players need to step up, because you see it now. Caitlin Clark did her thing. We had that one great player. Let's see if it continues to build where we see multiple ones. So you're not just watching one game a night, but you're saying, oh, this game's next as well with her. Let's switch over to that, because that's the way they need to expand their brand. They built the brand. Now they need to expand it with multiple players.
Because when you lose a girl that just put up 3,951 points, dropped 18 in the first quarter of the Nadia record, of course, broke every career-turning scoring record, AP Player of the Year, Wooden Award winner a couple of times, it's going to be tough to bounce back from that. But you're right, strength in numbers, that might be what the girls' game has coming up, because very, very clearly, we watch it on the high school ranks here in our own backyard. The level of play has just gotten better and better over the last 10 years. We see girls that are trying to do things that they were not maybe comfortable or felt confident doing in the past. So I'm certainly rooting for college basketball. I hope that they have some stars waiting in the wings to try to replace Caitlin Clark, because I think her following at the WNBA is just going to get bigger and bigger, and that all 22 across the chest. We're going to see jersey sales flying. She'll be the #1 jersey seller, I think, coming up here in the next year.
Absolutely, just because she built that brand in college.
She got it going
let's get her college. But yeah, you can compare it like Annika Labaki, who can hit threes from deep. Corey Vermilia, who can. You're starting to see people playing that game that Caitlin Clark has started.
Got to.
And I think we're just going to continue seeing that because now, she can hit from back there. Maybe let me start shooting from a little bit deeper. And it's just going to expand it. So hopefully this continues and it's not just a blip on the radar where it goes away.
Yeah, we're hoping so, because there haven't been too many girls in the history of college basketball that have been jumped off the page,
especially
quite like this one.
UConn. Like UConn was that team with the players, but then that was it. Then you had Baylor for a couple years. Then it dropped off, and then here comes Caitlin Clark. The High State Buckeyes, that women's team, they did pretty good. They got upset early on, but you're starting to see it. But like we said, who's going to be that player? Or
I'm just talking
players
from an individual perspective. UConn had a couple. Maya Moore was huge. Stewie was awesome. Brianna Stewart. Those two players, I think, looked a little bit different. The only other player that I can compare in the history of college basketball from what I've seen was Candace Parker. Was the first girl to come in where you were watching it. I was like, I'm probably going to turn into a Tennessee game. I got to see if this girl's going to dunk. I got to see if she's going to take it and turn around and try to throw it down. She had that same kind of cachet. Hopefully, Juju and some of these other players in the college game start elevating.
I still think if Sabrina would have had that NCAA tournament, because her senior year was the COVID year, to see if Oregon could have had that natty.
Yeah, that's fair.
With the Nike brand and things like that, that could have helped, maybe Oregon would have been that team. But then COVID happened, and it kind of dropped off. So, yeah, I'm interested. I'm excited to see who's going to take things over.
Yeah. But let's all just applaud the greatness that was Caitlin Clark. We salute you for an unbelievable career. I mean, she was such must-see TV that her own dad brought in snacks in a pouch.
That was so cool.
Just to be able to eat during the game. Because who wants to pay those prices at the NCAA? $15 for a burger? Not doing it.
No, he went down to the BP right next to his hotel in downtown Cleveland, and then, smart. That's what we do.
Hey, you know what else we do? We got big-time basketball for the men going down tonight as well.
The Natty.
Not just one, but two #1 seeds, just like we saw in the girls' game. We've got the defending champions in UConn taking on Purdue in a very motivated Zach Edey and company. So I think they've been the two most dominant teams in the tournament by far. There's a collision course. They've got two giants in the middle. This one has quite a bit of juice that I think we've kind of been predicting this since at least the Sweet 16, where it's just felt like it was going to be a collision course. The moon blocking out the sun, and that's what we're getting here.
Yeah. Klingon versus Edey. It's the matchup underneath that we want to see, but I think if he can cancel Edey out, they'll still get their points.
Good
Maybe
luck.
20 and 15. I think UConn's got the upper hand because they just have so many players. I was watching when I was back home for Easter that second half against Illinois, the 30-0 run that they had.
Unbelievable.
Against the Big Ten champs, tournament champs. I mean, Illinois misses a couple threes. Transition, dunk, place goes nuts. I mean, UConn is that team for the first time since when Florida beat Ohio State for back-to-back championships. It's been since 2007, but this team is just phenomenal, but they face a phenomenal player in Zach Edey who can take over a game by himself. If he puts up a 30 and 15 game again, Purdue's going to have a legit chance to win a championship. And they have that Virginia mantra where they were a 1 seed last year, got knocked off by a 16. What did Virginia do the next year? They went on to win the Natty. So, I mean, a lot of good storylines going for this one, but that's going to be another heavyweight bout here tonight at 9:20 on TBS.
Yeah, you want to talk about motivation. I think for Coach Painter and Edey that going into this tournament, there was a lot of talk nationally about, do we pick the 16 seed in the first round against Purdue? They've shown that they've got some chinks in the armor, that they can't play in the big game. And I think because of that conversation, this team, I mean, my gosh, have you seen the post-game interviews with Zach Edey? And I don't really love a lot of what he said. He's dropped a lot of F-bombs.
He's angry.
He's talking like a kid who is angry. I think that's the proper perspective. And he wanted to come and improve something.
That's what's helped Purdue get to where they are right now, because he's just been playing mad. And when you get somebody like that playing mad, it's like again, not saying he is, but Jordan, I took that personally, and then he goes out and scores 45 points against somebody. You get that dog in you, that fight, and you can do anything. And Zach Edey has done it game in and game out. He's just found a way to stay mad, and he's been dominating this NCAA tournament.
Yeah, 25 points, 12 rebounds, and over 2 blocks per game for Zach Edey, who just got named the Wooden Award winner, or excuse me, the Naismith Player of the Year for a second straight year. So I've got a trivia question for you, Travis.
Okay.
All right, so Zach Edey, back-to-back now Naismith Award winners. Oh, there's the answer to the trivia question right up on your screen. So who's the only other 2 guys to ever do it?
Well, you got Bill Walton, and it's kind of cut off, so I can't see it. But Ralph Sampson. Ralph Sampson, because I watched Survive in Advance. He won it the year that NC State made that run with Valvano for the championship. So Bill Walton and Ralph Sampson are my final answers.
That is correct. But they didn't just win it 2 times. Each of them 3-time National Players of the Year. So I'll let you know just how crazy of runs those 2 players had. Bill Walton, 72 through 74, and then Ralph Sampson, 81 through 83.
So I know Bill Walton. Everybody knows Bill Walton. But was Sampson successful in the NBA?
Yes.
Did he had a good, because I really haven't seen anything from him other than the Survive in Advance.
I think more so than Bill Walton, who had to deal with a lot of injuries. He was still good.
Oh, yeah, he was still
good.
But
the expectation was, because Bill Walton's 7'2", all the national championships. He just played for the most successful college coach of all time. They thought he was going to come in and dominate. He's what a character.
Oh, so great.
That's one of the
I miss him on ESPN. Well, we're going to miss him.
So
no more
layers.
Pac-12. Where's he going to go?
I don't know.
What's he going to cover?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Because y'all miss watching like midnight basketball with Bill Walton on there.
Pac-12 After Dark.
So good.
Yeah, we'll offer him a nice amount of money. Anybody want to donate money to the OH.Report to give Bill Walton a contract?
Come on.
Roll it down, big fella.
Come on, deadheads. It'd be awesome. All right, Travis. So Huskies, Boilermakers, all I got is just the 5 players for UConn, the entire starting lineup averaging at least 11 points per game.
How often do you see that in any college team, though?
It's not often that your best player statistically in terms of scoring, Tristan Newton for them, he's only scoring 14 per game. That's kind of an anomaly for a team that's just kicking the crap out of everybody, leaving you in their wake along the way to the national championship. So you and I, we both like to get involved now in the state of Ohio since we've got the legalized gambling on jumping on, a couple of parlays or some bets. So I don't have any graphics or anything put together, but this is my best bet for the night, just because I believe in the force that is the 2-time Player of the Year for the country and Purdue. I think that this is a team that's coming in feeling like everyone's overlooked them, not just during the regular season, but now in the tournament. So I'm taking Purdue plus the points. Give me 6.5, and I also like the over of 144.5 because these 2 teams, 2 of the highest scoring in college basketball. I know what the Huskies have done statistically speaking against the other tournament competition, but they've got Zach Edey, which can go against Klingman, who's 7'2". Well, guess what? I'm going to raise you 3 inches on the inside. So you parlay those 2 together. That's plus 290. I even got a boost on DK. They give me 25 extra, put me up to about plus 400. So that's where my money's going today. I like Purdue plus the points and over 144.5.
I like UConn. I like UConn the over. I probably get in there with you as well.
You laying the points with the Huskies though?
Yeah, I think UConn's just so balanced, so good. Edey's going to put up his points. He's going to put up his rebounds. But I just think there's so many players on UConn that can score the ball. 14.9, 14.4, 13.5, 13.1, and 11. That's the starting 5 right there. It's just they're so good out there. They're shooting 37% from 3 as well. I mean, Edey's not going to get out there and guard you. If he does guard you outside, then they're just going to throw it into Kling, and he's going to get the bucket. So I think that 3-point threat from UConn as well is going to do it. But I think I'll get the over on Edey rebounds if it's a good number. I'll get him over. I'll probably give him 25-plus points on there. UConn giving the points and the over of 144, and I'll use that. I have a 25% boost as well. Thank you. Shout out to the Eclipse for talking DK into doing that one. But yeah, I'll see if I can do that as well. I'm also talking with betting. I'm doing a ladder. You know what ladder betting is?
I do.
So I started with $20, and I'm running Major League Baseball over-unders. Me and my buddy were doing it. We got through 3 ladders up to about $90.
And then for those of you that don't know, the ladder is you let it ride.
Yeah,
you win
one step,
and you
just
do it
take
again.
Steps up until you hit the point. So my buddy and I, we wanted to do $20 and try and work our way to about between $800 and $1,000. That's about 6-7 steps.
Sounds like the best investment that you can make,
that'd
right?
be so for the like week that we get off in July before we get back into action after we're done with baseball, to take a nice little vacation, to do something.
Sure.
So we got through 3, got up to about $100, and then we did the over-under of, I think it was 9, it was 8. Over-under of 8 in the Marlins, who were 0-6 in Cardinals game. Marlins won 10-1.
Okay.
Knocked me down. But I did split because I was in Pittsburgh at PNC Park, the most beautiful ballpark in America.
Debatable.
During the it's much better than the Prague. But we'll get back to that.
At least you refer to it as the Prague. I'm so over Jacobs Field.
I should have said Jacobs Field just to
been
fluster
that in
you.
2 decades.
The Jake. But Pirates down 2-0 middle of the game. I said, I'll put $10 on plus 230 for the Pirates to come back and win. They won on a walk-off error. Bases loaded, 1 out. Second baseman makes a nice play at second and throws it in the stands. Pirates win. Make my money back. So then immediately I put it on under 10.5 last night for the Sunday night game. They scored 5 runs. So I'm back up to $65. So I'm going tonight on the Braves game under 9.5. So if that goes up, I'm back up to about $120, and we're a couple steps away from me getting a nice paid vacation myself. So
I'm going to be stunned if you make it happen just betting on baseball. And while I don't follow it anywhere at all close that I do any other sport, I think I know tennis even.
You should
both the men and the women better.
You should do a ladder with basketball betting. NBA. Just one
I'm
bet.
running out.
It's just one bet of minus 125 or better of an over-under for something.
It's a deal.
Like
Let's make it happen.
An over-under total points or first half.
I might do it with
some
hockey playoffs. Boy, I've really been loving
hockey.
hockey.
My Pens have worked their way out. They were 8 points, so that's 4 victories behind the last playoff spot. That was 2 weeks ago. They are now in the last playoff spot, working their way up. So that's looking good for the Penguins as well. But, yeah, hockey betting. You were good on hockey betting.
No, I've been so good that DraftKings actually they quit giving me boosts for it, and that they give me about 1 a week now because I was hitting. I had a pretty consistent, probably about 75% cash out rate where I was hitting these 3- and 4-leg parlays. So anytime that the people that are giving you the money, they don't like doing that. They don't like paying out. That's not really their style and what they're built on. So I don't know much about hockey, but I just like those puck lines, man. If you're going to give me a goal and a half and it's a good team on the road,
yeah.
That was my whole confidence picks.
Well, real quick, back to the UConn game. Our friend Effie James, good call on the Huskies. His team, the Huskies.
Yeah.
Said Stefan Castle, surprise MOP tonight. Most outstanding player. Yeah.
Well, it depends who wins, of course. So that's going to be the question for Connecticut. They've been very similar to how South Carolina was during the tournament, where it's kind of like a new leading scorer every night. You don't know.
Yeah.
It's just who's going to step up, who's going to have the favorable matchup, where's the double team's going to come from. So if UConn wins, I got no prediction. I really don't. Newton has been great. The big man going inside has been awesome the entire tournament, specifically on defense, but he's going to have his hands full with kind of an actual real-life giant. So clearly I think Edie would be the pick if it's Purdue. If you're a Huskies fan,
it could be it, and that's what makes UConn so good. It could be anyone.
It does.
Now we were talking about Caitlin Clark in the WNBA, Zach Edey in the NBA.
Yeah.
Where would he fit perfectly at? Who would he?
It feels like there's kind of a new rebirth of your back to the basket type of player, just a little bit at times in the NBA right now. So I think that there is a place for him. I've heard debate that maybe he might even be a first-round pick. That's interesting. You would think he's that big, you probably at least 10 years that you can get some tread on those tires in the league, continue to play.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's had any significant injuries in high school or now in college. I think he's been fine. So I could see Edie where it was a good – I mean, gosh, who knows? There's so much turnover in the rosters in the NBA from year to year about the complementary pieces. They'll usually hang on to about 2-3 stars and then somebody that they like and just kind of reinforce a lot of the top teams. So who knows? But I think there's a place for him, and I certainly feel like he should be a lottery pick. You got to take a chance on a guy like that.
Why not? If he could shoot the 3-ball, great. That'd just make it even better. But who would you compare him to in the NBA right now? Is there anybody?
This is
I know like Sabonis can shoot the 3 well, but he can...
Early in his career, how about Brook Lopez?
Okay.
He predominantly played with his back to the basket, and it's amazing to see. I think in his first couple of years in the league, he shot only a couple of 3-pointers. Now, You can't find him anywhere inside of the lane. So I think Zach Edey comparably could be like him at the beginning of his career. And then, like you said, it's just the evolution of the game. Eventually, you're going to have to learn how to knock down a transition three from the top of the key. Wemby's don't grow on trees. There's not other 7'5" guys that have handles and the perimeter skills that he does. So for Edey, I put him down on the block. I let him do what he does best to start his career. And if you can adapt him in year 2, maybe year 3, try to add that, but don't take him out of his comfort zone. He's too good down there.
Wemby and Edey on the same team. What do you think
you
about
want to
that?
talk about some real twin towers. I mean, Robinson and Duncan, that was one thing. But if we're looking at a combined 15 feet of human, stop it. That's interesting.
You're going
I
to
like
have to
that.
shoot 45% from 3.
And you like a guy like Pop to figure it out.
With Pop, I mean, Pop would...
It worked the last time he had 2 big dudes.
I mean, that would be...
And how many threes did Duncan and Robinson shoot? None?
Yeah.
So
bring back the old school game with Pop. Oh, he knows how to coach that. If he, nobody can, like, you would not be able to go into the paint.
how would you stack up? Honestly, let's say, I mean, like Cleveland, you like them to have an opportunity with our 2 7-footers to go out there, but
Tough
some
loss
other
last night too at the buzzer.
That was, oh man,
That hurts. I mean, the playoff. They what, 2 in a row now?
The most points that they scored in the first half all year. I'm on social media. I'm really loving life on the Twitter. I'm reposting. I'm like, yeah, life is good. And then I didn't watch any of the second half. We had the girls going on, and I was focused on that. But then when I saw that they lost, I was like, word?
Mm-hmm. I was at the Rivers Casino after the Pirate game. And I saw the highlight of that buzzer. I'm like, oh. That hurts. I mean, where are they at the? I
believe we're sitting 3rd right now in the East. We were a strong number 2.
Yeah.
What a run and a wave that they had, even with Spider going down with the 2 different injuries that he's trying to nurse. But he's back on the floor. Hasn't looked the same. His over/under, if you were betting in Vegas, it was. I mean, on any given night, it was. Is he going to score more than 32 or 33? Now you can get him on like 19, 20 points. Yeah. So he hasn't looked the same since coming back from the face injury, and then he's got a couple other things going on. But I do feel like Cleveland has an opportunity to start getting some continuity over these last couple of weeks of the regular season, and then at least host in the first round. They might slip down to the 4th spot. I really hope
that 5th spot right now.
I hope it's not a 4-5 matchup where we have to go on the road against New York like we did last year.
So this is what it is. The Celtics, Adam Thompson's team,
I think they've clinched the number 1.
They've already clinched the 1 seed. They're 15 up on the Bucks, who are 2. The Bucks 15 games back. Orlando, New York 16 back. Cleveland 16.5 back. So the Cavs could still get that 2 seed if they went out. A game behind them, Indiana at the 6. 2 games back at the 7 seed is Philly. 2.5 is Miami at the 8 seed. The Cavs, although I think with a win, they at least clinch with a win, because Milwaukee
they're in there,
at
baby.
47 and 31 have clinched a spot, but then everybody else with 46 have not yet. So they're a game away. Play-in, the Bulls and Hawks have clinched a play-in spot. It's just now, can the Cavs clinch? They can stay out of the play-in
to start.
The play at home. So they still have a chance. They're 25 and 14 at home, 21 and 18 on the road. So you want that.
Big difference from last year, where we were the best team at home and then not so great away from Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. So I'd love to see them get a top 4 pick, or excuse me, a top 4 seed. That'd be huge for them. All right, Trav, as the eclipse is starting to kind of fade away here, I think we're down to about our last 30, 40 minutes-ish of this. It's been a cool experience, but we've got much more to come on the OH.Report this week. We hope, fingers crossed, Mother Nature, she wants us to play ball. The sun has been shining. So coming up this week, we'll go through the list of games. Tomorrow, we've got a couple on the docket. I know that you get to go over to the castle for a potential live stream with the Bulldogs of East Knox.
Undefeated Northmore, number 4 in the state. Also, shout out Jason Sermolis of the Hillsdale Falcons. Saying what up the fellas, literally just now, so it's a perfect segue. But yeah, Golden Knights, you saw that district championship game. They just let it slip through their fingers. It was kind of like the basketball team. It happened twice to Blade Tackett as AD. But they have a squad back. Drew Hammond going to Findlay to play baseball.
Killing it lately.
Grant Bentley, he's an All-Ohioan in golf and basketball, probably going to be in baseball once again.
A third sport.
Brubaker also a pitch. So they have their pitching back, and then they still have a lot of good bats on that team.
Wow.
East Knox, though, up and coming. They're
They
good, too. They were in a district championship game, 2 years ago?
Yes.
I did see a shocker last year. Well, district champs 2 years ago, district finalists last year. The East Knox softball team no longer. They did not have enough players to be on a squad, so no more East Knox softball this year. But the baseball team, they're going to be a dark horse. They're going to be a dark horse for a competitor. Also, shout out to Dylan for the spring sports art.
I'm looking on the full screen. I'm like, what are we looking at?
It's a nice little sun. But East Knox, that's gonna be a good early season matchup, and can't wait to get down to the castle. The newly built ticket and restroom area, like it's all built
awesome.
up now. It's a cool place, so we'll have a better broadcast vantage point. But that's only one day. What else do we have this week? Hopefully,
hold on.
Right?
The day's not over with.
Oh,
how about Highland at Shelby baseball? I believe the Scots are still undefeated, right?
Yeah, they're state ranked as well. And Shelby, I mean, with the players that they got, however, they had to hold off Mansfield Senior 5. I believe it was 5-4 earlier this year. You got the basketball players starting to get back into it, but hey, shout out JR over at Mansfield Senior.
Yeah, I was going to say the Tigers are no slouch.
No, they are not.
They're trying to play some ball out there on the Dirty Diamond, and I think Shelby playing at home, if they get some good pitching, could contend with the Scots. But
I think Shelby in that
good games
in that
tomorrow.
district, they're probably, Ontario can't count Ontario out. They're the defending state runners-up in D2, but the Shelby Whippets, they thought they were the best last year. Ontario knocked them off. They got that Don Staley chip on their shoulder. They want to get back. They want to be that team this year, and they got all those basketball players playing out for them too, those athletes. So we'll find out. That's going to be a great game, though, because Highland is always a state contender.
You know what's better than one scoop of ice cream?
Multiple.
How about two?
Yeah.
How about a double dip going down on Wednesday afternoon?
Yeah.
That going over in Jeromesville, Hillsdale. We're side by side at the softball and the baseball diamond. They're taking on Downton. We're going to have baseball on the live stream. Or are we doing softball? Yeah, baseball.
We'll have a lot of softball, though, live stream. But, yeah, baseball this time.
The Bulldogs are off to a great start. Hillsdale, I think, is undefeated still.
They lost. Hillsdale baseball lost at Clear Fork over the weekend.
Oh.
But still, that's a good team in Clear Fork as well.
Good matchup.
But yeah, that was a rematch of last year's district game where Downton pulled off the victory. So Hillsdale going to want some payback there. And on the softball side, the Lady Falcons lost their first game to a very, very good Division I school. They split with Perry and the team they lost to. Give me a second to look that up. They fell.
Calculating route.
Riverside. Riverside just put it to Perry and Hillsdale, but Riverside's probably one of the favorites to win Division I. And Hillsdale, put up some runs in there. Bell Downton last week, 3 homers for very, very good lineup from 1 to 9 for the Lady Falcons. They've got a really good shot this year.
So she's been eating her Wheaties in the offseason.
She hasn't been thinking when she gets up to the plate. That's what kind of she told me. You overthink, you don't do well. She hasn't been thinking, and she's doing well too. So that's a fun squad. We'll be following. Madeline Zazzuto will be doing the highlight of the Lady Falcons in Downton, and then I'll be on the call right across the way, about 20 feet away. Hopefully, I don't get hit with a foul ball during the baseball game.
Yeah, might knock a couple of screws back into place, though, for you.
That's true.
Could work out.
But that's only day 2 of our coverage.
How about on Thursday, Centerburg at Danville softball, and we've got
the brand new press box at Danville, too.
I was going to say, they've got some new luxury suites all set up for us to come out and enjoy, and then 2 teams down in that KMAC that Danville's kind of had like the upper hand here lately. Centerburg's a strong team that's coming on strong, so more fun softball action on the way.
Danville went down to Myrtle Beach and won. I think they went like 3-1 or something like that.
That's why they look so tan right now down there.
Yes, they had a really good trip down, their little spring break trip. But Danville, again, another team that wants to get back to a district championship game. KMAC, as always, I'm telling you, underrated league all the way around, and baseball and softball going to show it once again. That's why they call me KMAC Trav, because I love showing that conference off.
Do you want to do it again on Friday? Then how about Centerburg at East Knox for some baseball? That sounds like fun.
Can't wait to get our first live stream out from Howard, Ohio. But we're so close to that press box for football that we can get the internet and power from there and get a game because it's right next to the football field. Can't wait to get down there. So much good baseball and softball on the docket. We're just showing off. We're showing off our WCAL friends and our KMAX squads with the Shelby in there, but we got a lot of other teams. We're going to hopefully get Galleon in there, Clear Fork, Shelby as well, Ontario. I think it's a Saturday game, Ontario at Hillsdale, I saw on the schedule possibly as well, yeah.
Friday, we're just going to do a highlight for that one, but we've got Ontario at Hillsdale for softball. So there's still some big boppers in the lineup for Ontario. They graduated a lot. Hillsdale has been off to this nice start, and obviously it's one of the best small school programs in the entire state. So you figure that with the coaching staff that they have, that they would be right back at the top of the heap yet again. So I think that's kind of a fun, Richland County versus Dromesville and Ashland County matchup there. But then on Saturday, Buckeye's going to be at Clear Fork for baseball. I'm going to be on the call with you for that one, and it looks like that's going to be the grandest day that we get if these weather forecasters know what they're talking about. Well, we're going to be like 78 degrees, baby. It's going to be real baseball weather.
Again. Yeah.
Can't wait.
Have you been catching up on your baseball verbiage and everything? I know you were trying to practice so you can call games yourself.
I am. So not yet. I'm waiting.
Give me some terms. Give me some terms that you know.
No,
now.
I have nothing.
You have none?
I'm starting rock bottom. I'm going to be a blank space baby. So if you want to come, write your name with some info for me. Text me, send me some emails, whatever. But this is what I'm going to do this week.
Okay.
I'm basically spending tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. All I'm working on is the Shelby movie. Okay.
Oh, yes, that's basketball.
I got to start breaking that out. Otherwise, it's going to be too far gone out of memory, and people's going to be like, oh, yeah, I remember when that happened. So that's what I'm going to be working on. But in the background, there's lots of softball that I've already seen that's going to be on ESPN, ESPN2. I'm going to have that on.
Guardians opening day at home tonight.
Whispering.
Well, here in an hour. Things like that, yeah.
So I don't know if I can do baseball, but I'm going to focus on softball, ladies. I want to be out there for you, and I feel like it's a little bit more fast-paced. It's kind of more up to my speed. Baseball, the great pastime. We've got other people that's what y'all love. That's what you do. So I'm probably going to leave that to you, and I'll stick with the girls with the big yellow balls. That might be my new go-to. Looking forward to it.
It's more high octane, high pace as well for softball. But yeah, glad to have you on. I know before, when we first met, you weren't the big baseball guy, and then we went to the World Series, and you started getting that love for it and a little bit more. And now I'm gonna be like a proud papa when you get all these terms down. Be like, oh, look at you, you're just so cool. So
I know can of corn.
I
look forward to saying that one.
Well, yeah, my video with Hillsdale practicing before the state thing. That's can of corn, easy ball, easy fly ball for you. But we'll get you there. We'll get you there.
I know that a Grand Slam is more than just on the Denny's menu, so I'm not coming in completely empty-headed about what's going on. They
also call that Grand Salami too.
Oh, yum! I'll take them both.
Yeah.
Looks like the Grand Salami of the day is still going on.
Yeah, we're getting there.
The sun, it's kind of tired of the moon at this point.
Did you know that there were flights that were just airline flights that were just going through the path of totality? People booked like flights just so they could be that'd be a cool thing to do in the air as the eclipse is happening.
So one person that was on Today's Show, I believe, last week that talked about that, showed the videos from 2017 or 18, whenever the last one was,
6
that
years ago.
he booked one of those flights, and he had a video on his phone. It looked pretty awesome from the sky, right? I gotta say.
Looked pretty awesome from right here, though, too. That's something I will forever remember, though. That ring at Totality was just in the little burps of light that were going out. I mean, it
was like red, bright red is what the colors that I was seeing.
It's just crazy at some of the things that happen in this universe that you don't like. You just find that'll be for another time.
God, we salute you. I mean, that first day, that first book in Genesis, when you created the heavens and the earth, however you made this all come together is pretty wild. But I'm glad to be a part of it as a human down here, just looking up with my fancy glasses and seeing the whole thing go down.
The biggest photobomb in the universe, the moon photobombing the sun. We had it for you right here, live and free, and forever. You can watch it back whenever you want to if you want to listen to our antics and shenanigans as we went on. But that's pretty cool.
Trav, I'm out of topics. I had a little list of things that I wanted to talk about, but I feel like we've got them all in here. So
And I had
looks like we're bringing the crew out.
Family watching, friends watching back. Shout out to my friend Josh on his 50th birthday once again. My mom was watching. Zach watching over, and he just got back from Malta. That's he said. I'm watching the Eclipse stream with you guys. I just got back from Malta. International thing. Shout out Madeline, Jory, Adam, our new intern. I forgot his name. Brian, new intern name. Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
It's Dylan.
Just met him today, but he's going to be working with us throughout the spring, too. So welcome, OH.Report family, to Dylan. Voila.
Yeah, well, we're going to have him tear this whole thing down. I think maybe mow the grass, and then beautiful. Spring sports, come on. What more could you want? He's about to have a degree.
It's Microsoft Paint. I can't even do that on Paint, you know.
That's North Central State College's finest right there. Put to use. Can you even tell? Like, what's the real son and which one is Dylan's?
I really can't see.
They both look like they're smiling.
Yes, they are.
It's like the exact same shape.
Yeah.
Wow. Spot on. So
Beautiful.
Good.
Well done. Bravo. And bravo for you guys sticking with us. It was fun. This has been a fun day.
Thank you, guys. And it's only just beginning because, of course, we got the Natty going down tonight for the gentlemen. I'm on the side of Purdue plus 6.5. I feel like the Huskies are going to win. But they're such a strong second-half team that I might have to hedge my bet and throw. Effie James might be right. I might need to get a couple of Fazools out there.
When isn't he right? Never. He's never wrong.
It's fair. It's fair. He's one of those guys.
The unofficial mayor of Mansfield. I mean, come on.
He should probably be giving me all my pointers. If I'm going to put money on something, it should just be the James gang letting me know. Him and Teresa both. That's the power couple.
Amen. I ain't got nothing bad to say about that.
All right. Well, I think we've said everything that pretty much
I want to check out the new Eclipse beverage from the Phoenix.
Oh, so we might have to make a little hop, skip, and a jump over there. We'll have the new intern tear everything
warmed
down
back
here.
Up, I will say that.
I was gonna. I was like rubbing my hands when we first came back on air, but now it's back to being nice, and we almost got the full sun out. But we're not showing it anymore. We're about to go off the air. Plenty of action coming up this week on the OH.Report, which is detailed for our spring sports coverage, and more great things to come, as always. So keep us locked and loaded at all times. If you're a fan of high school sports, we are the future local sports. But we out for now. Enjoy your Monday.